Tributes continue to come for a politician who made history in the Show Me State. William Lacy Clay Sr. is dead. The 94-year-old blazed a trail, bringing change in St. Louis and in America. First Alert 4's Morgan Harris takes a look back at the life of the man who became the first African-American to represent Missouri in Congress.
From a young age, he fought for rights. William Lacy Clay Sr. would rise to great fame after helping bolster the protest against St. Louis's Jefferson Bank for its lack of black employees.
Please leave our premises forthwith.
But enjoying the money of black customers. Bill Clay's life began in April of 1931. One of 7, he grew up downtown. He would be one of the first African Americans admitted to St. Louis University, graduating in 1953. After a stint in the Army, he became an alderman in 1959 and grew his involvement in civil rights, which helped him get to Congress in 1969, becoming Missouri's first black representative in Congress.
I began my career in public service with a simple yet profound vision. A vision of what America could be, should be, and what my determined insistence would be.
During his more than 3 decades in Congress, Clay Sr. helped establish the Congressional Black Caucus, championed and secured family leave time, and served on the Committee on Education and Labor for his entire time in Congress. Following his retirement in 2001, the congressional seat stayed in the family with his son, William Lacy Clay Jr., winning election in Missouri's 1st District.
Our honor is only made possible because of your loyalty, your support, and your commitment to the idea of having an uncompromising voice in Congress for those traditionally not represented. But the time has come to recognize the inevitable. No empire, no institution, no individual can last forever.
There are so many tributes pouring in for Bill Clay. St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer telling us, quote, Bill Clay's courageous legacy of public service to St. Louis and the country is etched in his historic legislative battles for the poor, underrepresented, and disenfranchised. Congressman Wesley Bell, who now holds Bill Clay's seat, says, quote, I carry his example with me every time I walk onto the House floor. His courage, his fire, his commitment to justice. We have lost one of the fiercest champions of our city and country have ever known.